There was once a radio station nestled deep in the Appalachian Mountains of West Virginia, station WZRT 106.3 FM. It was one of those old local broadcasters from the 1940s that people had long since forgotten. What made it infamous wasn't its age or rustic charm, but the fact that in 1998, every single employee vanished in one night during a live broadcast. The building still stands, decayed. Vines cover its broken windows, and the massive red WZRT letters have faded to ghostly white. Locals whisper that on certain stormy nights, if you tune to 106.3, you'll hear static, followed by screams. The story begins with Sarah Whitman, a journalism graduate student at Ohio University who had a fascination with lost media. Her thesis project? Investigating the last night of WZRT's broadcast. She had heard the rumors, how DJ Rick Dalton was midway through his shift when the emergency broadcast alarm was triggered without warning. The strange thing. No alert was issued by the government. Rick, a veteran radio host, reportedly tried to calm listeners but suddenly screamed, then went silent. The station continued broadcasting silence for 7 hours before shutting down forever. Sarah was determined to find the truth. She started by contacting retired employees, but most refused to talk. A janitor named Gene Holloway was the only one who agreed to meet. They sat in his dusty garage as he chain-smoked and trembled at every question. "It wasn't Rick's scream that chilled me," he said. "It was the voices that came after." He told her that in the last hour, strange whispers began filling the studio, even though no one was speaking. He had been cleaning the hall when he heard it through the air vents, a girl sobbing. Then she started humming a lullaby, soft and slow. I ran out and never came back. Sarah, intrigued, drove out to the ruins of WZRT. It was a 2-hour hike from the nearest road. The building looked worse than she imagined, like nature had tried to bury it. The interior was littered with old reel tapes, broken furniture, and waterlogged file cabinets. In the control room, the console still sat like a forgotten altar. She turned on her portable recorder and described what she saw. The walls were covered with graffiti. Most were dates. All of them were in the month of October. One date stood out, October 29th, 1998. The night everyone disappeared, she found a reel labeled October 29th Final Broadcast, hidden beneath a cabinet. It was dusty but intact. Sarah took it back to her university's lab, where she digitized it for analysis. That night in her apartment, she listened to the last broadcast. It started with Rick Dalton introducing the midnight playlist, then static. At first minor, almost like interference, but then there was a sound underneath, low and rhythmic, breathing. Rick chuckled nervously on the tape. "Okay, folks, I think someone's messing with the signal." Then he stopped. A long silence, then a whisper barely audible. "Behind you." Rick let out a sound between a sob and a choke. "Oh God, what the hell is that?" You could hear him scrambling, footsteps slamming against the floor. Then dozens of voices layered together, chanting in a language Sarah couldn't recognize. It wasn't English. It wasn't any language she had ever heard. The recording ended with a loud, high-pitched screech that burst her speakers. Then, dead air. Sarah felt sick. Something about the recording, it wasn't just sound, it made her feel watched. That night she had a dream. In it, she stood in the WZRT hallway, red lights flashing, alarms blaring. She walked toward the studio, where Rick was slumped over the microphone, bleeding from his eyes. Behind him stood a figure, tall, featureless, skin like burned porcelain. It turned to look at her, and in that moment, she woke up gasping for breath. Sarah was no longer just curious. She became obsessed. The audio spectrogram of the tape revealed something horrifying. The chanting, when visualized, formed the shape of a face, long, hollow eyes and a slit for a mouth, a spectral image embedded in sound. She reached out to paranormal researchers. One, Dr. Louis Vane, claimed the chanting resembled Enochian, an ancient angelic language allegedly used to summon spirits. He warned her not to keep playing the tape. "It's not just a recording," he said. "It's a conduit." Sarah ignored his warning. She uploaded the digitized audio to a private server. That night, her neighbor called in a noise complaint, saying strange music was playing loudly from her apartment, but her computer had been off. A week later, Dr. Vane was found dead in his office. Cause: massive cerebral hemorrhage. But here's the thing. His assistant said the professor had gone catatonic minutes after listening to the audio Sarah sent him. The tape was starting to have a body count. She tried to destroy the reel, threw it in a fire pit. It didn't burn. Tried a hammer. It dented the floor, not the reel. Whatever it was made from, it wasn't normal. Desperate, Sarah returned to WZRT one last time. She wanted to put the tape back, as if undoing what she'd done. The weather was grim, gray skies, and distant thunder. As she reached the station, she noticed something new. The door was open. Inside, the air was thick, metallic. The console lights were blinking, despite no power source. Her phone died. Her flashlight flickered. She placed the reel back in the cabinet where she found it. As she turned to leave, she heard the broadcast. The console lit up, and Rick Dalton's voice crackled through the speakers. "If you're hearing this, run." Sarah froze. The room temperature dropped sharply. Breath steamed in the air. From the hallway came soft sobbing, the same lullaby Jean had mentioned. A girl's voice, humming, slow and mournful. Then the lights exploded. Sarah fled into the forest, sprinting until she collapsed by her car. She never returned to WZRT. But a week later, an envelope appeared at her door. No return address. Inside was a USB drive. It contained a new recording, dated the day she returned to the station. The broadcast featured her voice, her breathing, her screams. Everything that happened had been recorded. But how? She never hit record. The final seconds chilled her blood. A voice, not hers, whispered directly into the mic. "She's ours now." Sarah vanished 6 days later. Police found her apartment abandoned. All electronics fried. Her last known location, traced via GPS, was the WZRT broadcast tower. To this day, no one dares go near it. But every year on October 29th at exactly midnight, station WZRT begins to broadcast again. No DJ, no music, just whispers, chanting, screams. The FCC tried to shut it down. They dismantled the tower, cut the wires, destroy the console. But it always returns. Locals say it's not powered by electricity, it's powered by something older. So if you're driving near those mountains and your radio suddenly tunes itself to 106.3, turn it off. Because if you listen too long, you'll hear your name. And once you do, it's already too late.